There are two types of failed photographers: those who quit and have the decency to delete the evidence, and those who quit, wait 10 years and try to monetize on that failure. Guess which one I am? This is X100S, fixed 35mm lens, no zoom, no excuses. In 2015, I've made a sacred vow to this camera. One photo a day, every day, for 365 days. I lasted 107. That's 29%. In university, that's not just failing. That's please see the counselor on your way out. Last month, I told you about my arranged marriage to a 50mm lens. A year of commitment, discipline, fidelity. People watched me have a breakdown about focal lengths. But before that arranged marriage, there was an infatuation. Passionate, all-consuming, completely unsustainable. And it ended up with me ghosting the camera so hard I put it in a drawer and pretended it never happened. These prints, they're from that infatuation. 107 days of burning passion before I got bored and wandered off to ruin something else. They are evidence, and for some reason I decided to make them public. This is either brilliant marketing or cry for help. Possibly both. I called it 8 million, London's population at the time. The concept was poetic, capturing loneliness in a city of millions. Pretentious? Absolutely. But I was 28 and had just discovered street photography existed. I thought I was the second coming of Soul Lighter. I was insufferable. And, like all good infatuations, it started with a lie I told myself. This time will be different. This time I'll commit. This time I'll see it through. But for the first 3 weeks, magic. Every day after work, I'd walk the city of London. St. Paul's, Bank, Barbican. The golden hour light, carving shadows into glass and concrete. I'd shoot strangers, silhouettes, architecture. 1 frame a day. Sometimes 20, but I would only post 1. I had rules, discipline, vision. I was convinced this project would transform me into a real photographer. Capital R, capital P. The kind who says, I only shoot things for myself while checking Instagram engagement every 4 minutes. The X100S and I were inseparable. It came everywhere. Dinner parties, the pub, family gatherings where my sister-in-law asked, must you bring that everywhere? Yes, Jackie, I must. This is art. You wouldn't understand. Jackie was right. Jackie's always right. I should listen to Jackie more. For about 6 weeks, I was unbearable. I'd corner people at parties to explain the conceptual framework of my project. I used the phrase visual language unironically, multiple times. And on the days I couldn't be bothered to venture into central London, I would just photograph my 1-year-old son and pretended it fit the narrative. It didn't, but nobody called me on it because everyone had learned to nod politely and wait until I stopped talking about aperture. By week 6, the cracks were showing. City of London is only so big. I'd shot every dramatic shadow, every silhouette, every bloke in a suit that looks existentially exhausted on a Tuesday at 5:30. So I started shooting locally, South Woodford, the suburb I lived in. Which, if you've never been, looks exactly like every other London suburb. Red buses, Tesco metros, and a pervasive sense of mundane inevitability. It's where ambition goes to buy a sensible hatchback and pretends it always wanted one. Week 7. The novelty was gone. The infatuation was turning into obligation. You know that moment in a relationship where you've run out of things to talk about? Where you sit across each other at a dinner and the silence is so loud you can hear your own mortality ticking? That's where I was with this camera. Day 43. I photographed a fence. Because I had to photograph something. And there was a fence. Day 51. Another fence. Different fence. Day 58. I seriously considered just shooting fences for the rest of the year and calling the whole project 8 million fences. A meditation on urban railings and creative bankruptcy. I didn't. But I thought about it for longer than is reasonable. September 3rd, 2015. Day 107. I didn't take a photo that day. Do you want to know why? The real reason? I had a minor disagreement with a ticket inspector on the Central line. Something about my Oyster card not registering properly. It wasn't even an argument, just a mild exchange that lasted maybe 20 seconds. Anyway, I went home that day, sulking. Ate entire packet of hobnobs, the chocolate ones, not even the respectable plain digestives. Watched 3 episodes of QI and decided that artistic suffering can wait until I had processed that public transport trauma. Day 108. Didn't shoot. Too annoyed about what happened yesterday. Day 109. Didn't shoot. Too annoyed about breaking the streak yesterday. Day 110. Thought about shooting. Decided thinking about it was good enough. Day 115. I put the X100S into a drawer next to some cables I might need one day and a warranty for a toaster I no longer own. That's where it stayed, for 9 remaining months. I didn't announce I was quitting, I just stopped. Gradually people stopped asking about it. The project died quietly, like a plant you forget to water after 2 weeks because you get bored of being a plant person. Here's what no one tells you about quitting a project like this. The guilt doesn't go away. It compounds. Every time I'd open Lightroom catalog, the folder would be there. 8 million. I couldn't delete them, because deleting them would be admitting they're worthless. I just left them sitting there, like emotional clutter. The photographic equivalent of your ex's toothbrush in your bathroom 3 years after they've moved out. My wife asked about them once. Whatever happened to that project? I just told her I finished. I just never got around to posting the photos. I'm a liar and a quitter. But hey, at least I'm consistent in both. Fast forward to last Tuesday, 2:17 AM, the hour where all great decisions are made. I'm sorting through my Lightroom catalog. Why? Because somehow I've conned 2,500 people to subscribe to this channel. So I'm either doing something right, or we are all collectively having a mental breakdown. And I want to do a print giveaway. So I'm looking for photos worth printing, which is harder than it sounds when half of your catalog is out of focus nonsense and experimental shots that you took when you were tipsy thinking you're Daido Moriyama. I hover over it. The cursor is shaking. This is it, the moment of reckoning, the evidence preserved in raw format. I click. And here's the thing that's kept me awake for the past week. They're alright, quite alright. Some of my favorite work, actually. I'd spent a decade looking at this project as a failure, a source of shame, a proof that I couldn't commit to anything. But looking at them now, they're actually better than half the shit I shot since. 107 days. That's all it took to create some of my favorite work. And I was so focused on the 258 remaining days I didn't show up that I completely forgot to look at the 107 that I did. So, here's where I'm supposed to have an epiphany, where I tell you that failure is actually success. That quitting taught me more than finishing ever could. That the journey matters more than the destination. And you know what? All of that is sort of true, which makes me deeply uncomfortable because I've built my entire identity on this project being an utter failure, and now I'll have to admit that maybe I was wrong. You see, 107 days of work doesn't disappear just because you didn't hit 365. A failed novel still gives you 50 pages. A failed business still gives you experience. A failed relationship still gives you, well, therapy bills and trust issues. But occasionally some good photos. Infatuation burns bright and fast. That's the point. You get 100-odd days of passion and it's done. And that's okay. Because sometimes the best thing you can do is to quit while you're still ahead. Or in my case, quit while you're mediocre, but at least still enjoying yourself. So, after discovering my failure was not terrible, I had an idea. What if I could take my incompetence and profit from it? What if I could take my abandoned dreams, my inability to finish anything, and my lack of discipline and monetize it? Enter Fujifilm Japan. These prints, created by them. Museum quality archival paper, professional matting, the works. The company that made the camera I used to fail is now printing the evidence of that failure. They don't know who I am, by the way. This isn't a sponsorship. This is just the universe having a laugh. So here's what's happening. I'm giving 5 of those prints away. Not as prizes, as warnings. If you enter this giveaway and by some cosmic misfortune you win, you'll receive one of those 5 prints. A permanent reminder that I couldn't finish what I started. Here's how to enter. Subscribe to the channel because I need validation. 2. Comment below which print you'd like. 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5. That's it. No hoops, no Instagram follow backs, no tag 3 friends who also make poor life choices. In a week, I'll draw 5 names, probably with one of my kids pulling them out of a hat, or a bowl, or maybe a sock. I haven't decided. The point is, it will be slightly chaotic and deeply, deeply underwhelming. You're not winning a prize, you're becoming evidence that someone somewhere believed in my incompetence enough to want a physical copy of it. Congratulations in advance. I'm sorry about what's about to happen to your interior. And if you lose this giveaway, which statistically most of you will, there's a backup plan. You can actually buy these failures. That's right. I've opened a print shop. Links in the description. The missus thinks this is opportunistic. My therapist says it's an interesting exploration of reframing personal narrative. My accountant thinks it's genius. I'm listening to my accountant. And here's the thing I've been avoiding saying. I spent 10 years thinking this project defined me as someone who couldn't finish anything. Someone who lacked discipline. Someone who started things with grandiose ideas, but quit as soon as things got a little bit hard. And you know what? It's all true. But looking at these prints now, I also spent 107 days making something, showing up, even when I didn't feel like it. Even when the light was wrong, or I was tired, or I'd already shot that corner 3 times and was running out of ideas. 107 days. That's more than many spent on anything creative. So maybe the lesson isn't about finishing. Maybe it's about recognizing when you've made something worth keeping, even if you gave up halfway through. Or maybe I'm just justifying my own lack of commitment so I can sleep at night and sell you prints with clear conscience. Could be either. Both are true. So here's my challenge to you. Start something. A 365 project, a photo book, a series on fences, whatever. And when you fail, because you probably will, don't delete it. Look at what you've made. Even if it's incomplete, even if it's not what you've imagined, even if it's the evidence of you giving up. Because I failed a 365 project 10 years ago, and these prints are evidence that it was worth starting anyway. Or they are proof that I am a charlatan who'll monetize anything. You decide. Either way, the work exists, and that's more than nothing. 8 Million Project was about loneliness, about feeling invisible in a crowd of millions. 10 years later, I'm 10,000 kilometers from London, and somehow you're watching this. I don't feel invisible anymore. Maybe that's what finishing looks like. Not 365 days, but showing up again and again until someone notices. Thank you for noticing.